Artemis Toast here, and we're gonna talk about something different today. I do my all kinds of awesome trademark album reviews. My guitar reviews, interviews with musicians. We're gonna do a I'm not gonna do a top 10 list. I'm gonna do like, I'm gonna mention, it's gonna be about lead singers. I'll get right to it. In my opinion, the greatest lead singer in rock and roll history. There's going to be a lot of things that factor into that. You know, there's a lot of top 10 lists. We talk about top 10 greatest guitarists in the world, but we already know what the answer is going to be. Um, you know, I'm not claiming you know laying claim to this idea. It's all over the interwebs, all over the YouTubes. But I'm just gonna get right, more or less get right to the point. You know, and once again, this is an op-ed. This is my opinion. There's a lot of things that obviously go into being a lead singer. You know, Voice. There's a lot of great lead singers. Freddie Mercury. A great example. Just powerful, great voice, great stage presence, and everything as well. I'm not knocking that. There's just so many facets to being a lead singer. Commanding the audience. There's a lot of them that they were really good at that. Steven Tyler is a good example of that. Not that, once again, not taking away from any of the other facets of his lead singing ability, but that in my opinion, that's and I think a lot of people will agree that that's one of those things that the command of the audience, obviously the song holds them, but some lead singers could just own an audience. The late Scott Wyland, he's a good example of that from the grunge era, with the Stone Temple Pilots and such, and even with the guys from Guns N' Roses, the Velvet Revolver. He just had that stage presence. Other grunge musicians did as well. But in my opinion, for the decade of the '90s, Scott Weiland was the guy. When you talk '80s, I guess, I'll just, that guy right there, Diamond Dave of the Van Halens, in my better shot in the back. Being around the music industry, being a roadie for a lot of bands, I've seen a lot of lead singers, seen a lot of people play live, and Diamond Dave, he owned an audience, I guess in my opinion, Scott Weiland was that guy of the '90s. And not that there weren't others. Eddie Vedder was great. Still is. I'm just saying, in my opinion, Scott Weiland, had the best stage presence for a lead singer of a '90s grunge band. Chris Cornell was great. There's Lane Staley, the late Lane Staley. A lot of great ones. '80s, in my opinion, front and center of a band, David Lee Roth. '70s, there's many to choose from, especially when you get to the late '70s, early '90s. From previous videos, I'm a fan of many different genres of music, but I'm skipping around the point. in my opinion, the greatest, and many people share this opinion. I'm not, on any bandwagon or anything. Sometimes there's a reason why a lot of people think that someone's the best. I could attest to it. I'm the world's greatest guitarist. I never get tired of hearing it. So I don't think it's too cliche to happen to have the same opinion. As a lot of people. I just happen to agree that in my opinion, that gentleman right there, by the name of Robert Plant of the Led Zeppelins, is, in my opinion, the greatest frontman in the history of rock and roll. I mean, there's Chuck Berry. There's so many great ones. That's why this is really, really hard to do, and And I think the thing that kind of made up my mind, I've been planning to do this video, just, give my opinion of who I think is the greatest, and I'm going to do it with other, it's going to be a new series, the greatest at an instrument, or something. I'll think of something more clever to title it. When I upload this video, I'll make it the first of a playlist. But, the world's greatest bassist, percussionist, drummer, I think like pairs and bands like your Jerry Cantrells and your Lane Staleys, or your Simon and Garfunkels, especially when there's like harmonizing and things like that. The best voice in rock, and once again, in my opinion, I don't have to cover the guitarist, like I said before. But back to the matter at hand, Robert Plant and Led Zeppelin. Like I was starting to say, I was watching on the YouTubes, a live performance of, one of their most famous tunes, Stairway to Heaven. And, he didn't jump around a lot, he wasn't like, Diamond Dave in that aspect, or Steven Tyler, or, even, Pete Townshend's band, The Who's, Roger Daltrey, flamboyant, Mick Jagger, once again, not taking away anything from any of these guys, except for maybe Roger Daltrey, great at their craft, asterisks, except maybe Robert Daltrey. The way he was commanding the stage with hand gestures and just standing there, I mean, I was thinking that, that was pretty, I guess, not all these lead singers have that, I guess if you had to label, the term stage presence, or had to define it in varying degrees, the ability to hold the audience, their attention with barely making gestures. I mean, that, I think that's, in my opinion, what sets him apart from the rest. Once again, not saying others can't do that, but vocal range, the fact that he was the lyrics, great lyrics, the fact that he was the front man of Led Zeppelin, come on now. I'm sure that brings it up a few notches as well. One of the greatest, now classic rock acts of all time. And even now, I was listening to, even, new Robert Plant tracks last year. He still has it. It's not as powerful, but the range is still there. Excuse me. And another thing, he still has all his hair, man. Diamond Dave, that really sucks, but man, those hats aren't doing it. No disrespect to Diamond Dave. He's all kinds of awesome. But yeah, there you have it. In my personal opinion, you know, Robert Plant of the Led Zeppelins, in my opinion, is the greatest frontman in rock history. Sorry Elvis. Sorry Lennon. Sorry McCartney. Sorry Freddie Mercury, the late great Freddie Mercury. Sorry Ozzy. I mean Axl. Maynard James Keenan. Across the board, across many genres. Rock. Robert Plant was still is all kinds of awesome. Follow me on the Twitters at Artemis Toast. Out.